Hello. Please confirm if you are able to hear this audio. Please confirm if you are able to hear me properly. Yes, thank you, Pearl of the Quarter, for confirmation. Okay, so welcome, freaking awesome, Bakiria, Gopal Krishnan, John. Hello, we just had chat right now. I had a chat with John. Thanks for joining in. Bakiria, Gopal Krishnan, Pearl of the Quarter. Hi, thanks for the confirmation. Pradeep R. Yes, we can hear. So, yes, thank you. So, those who are live right now, I'm grateful for your support. And those who are watching it as a replay of it, this video will be in two parts. In the first part, I'll be talking about the topic of this video. And at the end of this video, or maybe in between, I will be taking the questions, will sharing the questions, and sharing my feedback with you. Okay, so if you guys have any question, put your question into the comment section, and you might feel that I have missed it, but I will read all the questions and will reply to all the questions. Okay, just be patient, and if I ever miss it, just post it again. And those who are joining in here, please hit the like button. It means a lot to me. Welcome, Prasad Joshi, Preeti Daftari. Hello. Yeah. So let's get started with this. Yesterday and the day before yesterday, we talked about the Vimshottari Mahadasha. Vimshottari Mahadasha is the nakshatra based dasha sequence, which is the time period. And we talked about it, how it is, how we can see that in the chart. Now, and we also talked about the Sadesati, which is the transit. The Sadesati is the transit of Saturn, 12th to the Saturn over your moon. Not 12th to the Saturn, 12th to your moon. Saturn, 12th to your moon, over your moon, and second to your moon, right? So these two, are the transit, the condition for the transits. Now, how to predict with transits and how important are the transits, right? Let's talk about them. The most important thing when we are predicting with transits are what we are predicting. Okay, there are few other ways we can look up to transit. First is the ways we can like the area. So the most important points to look for in transit is ascendant, is sun, is atmakaraka, is the natural karakas, and then the Gemini karakas. Okay, so sun, moon, ascendant, the specific karakas, and the charakarakas, sthirakarkas as well as charakarakas of Gemini. So these are the points which we have to consider while we are considering the transits. How we are going to look at it? Let's say we have to predict about career. So the significator of career is, sun, and Saturn is the planet of karma. So you can consider the transit of Saturn or transit of sun through your 10th house. Now, why did I take the 10th house? Because it is the relevant house for, or the signification of that thing which we are predicting, right? So we will consider the 10th from the Amatya Karaka, or the 10th from the Lagna, 10th from the moon, and see what are the planets we are getting in. Okay, and then we'll see how many more combinations we are able to find about these points. What do I mean by that? Let's say you want to predict somebody's career, and then you can check then you saw the Saturn is transiting through the 10th house. Okay, and that person also has Sun placed into the 10th house, which is also an Amatya Karaka and is ruling the 10th house itself, right? Then there becomes the possibility of happening of that event. If you want to predict any event, you have to master the dashas, yogas, and the final prediction will be based on the transits. Like first you will look at the birth chart, whether that person have the possibilities of the rise in career or any profound, high paying or karma which will recognize him. This possibility has to be observed through the yogas. And how do we judge yogas? I think we will make a different video on that. But to give you the idea about it, just look at the association of the planets. Association of the planets create yogas. Yoga literally means union, or you can say conjunction. But conjunction is when, let's say I have Saturn and Sun conjunction, or Saturn and or Jupiter and Sun conjunction. So Jupiter is the Karaka for finances, and Sun is the Karaka for the work, or it is the Karaka for the self. It shows now you will have more to know about this conjunction, right? If you want to judge Sun and Jupiter conjunction, you can simply say that, okay, these are two friends, male planets, and one shows inner light, other is wisdom, and it's a great positive optimistic conjunction. But now you have another layer to it. Now you have added that the lordship of the planets to it, also the yoga to it. Now it will give you the clarity about what this person is capable of. I always give the example of Gajakesri yoga, easy to understand, but don't just stick to it. Like you can have any other yogas, and you will still have to find the right transit and dasha to see the manifestation of those yogas. Some of the yogas may not even get manifested. Let's say you are 3 years old and you have some transits of Venus going on, which shows marriage. Makes no sense, right? This is how it works. So when you have this transit, we discussed about the yogas. Yogas are the most important part of the planet, it's the most important planet part of the predictions and horoscope. Okay, if you don't have the yogas, it simply means that this is not for you. And then the things will change. You won't you won't have the same way of looking at these things. Okay, if you have yoga, then comes the next question: whether I will be able to manifest this yoga, whether I'll be able to enjoy this yoga, whether this yoga is relevant for me, right? Then the dashas will come. Yesterday we talked about dasha, and in dasha sequence we talked about the two planetary dashas, like dasha and the antra dashas. Like if you are uh, going through the Mahadasha of Sun, it has the sub period of, say, Moon. So I would say you are into Sun Moon period. Okay. I think some of you have asked me the question about the rulership. I think John has asked the question about the rulership, that he was asking that what do I mean by dasha ruler when I say dasha ruler? Is it the Rashi or the Lord of the Rashi in which the dasha planet is placed in, or what is that dasha ruler? Okay, let's say you are going through the Saturn Mahadasha, and Saturn is placed into the sign of Capricorn. Does the Capricorn becomes the dasha ruler? No, dasha ruler is always a planet. So let's say you're going through the Mahadasha of Saturn. I would say Saturn is the dasha ruler. And wherever you have Saturn placed in your chart, that will show the ruler of the dasha planet. Okay, sounds confusing? Just listen to it once and you will be all right. Okay, I hope you have got your answer, John. Now, next question. We talked about the yogas, we got the confirmation. Now we moved on to the Vimshottari Mahadasha. In Vimshottari Mahadasha, we check the dasha and antradasha, if not next levels. But at this point, I would recommend just go and check the two planetary levels. That's enough. And then now the interesting part comes in. Yogas have given the confirmation, and Vimshottari Mahadasha is also showing the important planets involved in the yogas, right? When the planets involved in the yoga, when you go through the time period of those planets, you will experience the results indicated by that yoga, whether that is good or bad. You will get the results of those yoga during this time. Okay, now comes the transit part. Transit is planets are always moving. At the time of your birth, planets were somewhere placed in, but even today planets are moving, right? And that's what the transit is. If you just casted the chart for right now, you will still see some planets somewhere. Okay, and this is called the transit. Now what you have to do is you have to see the planets transiting right now and how they are connected with all your important activation points in your chart. What are the activation points? These are the trigger points which will bring in major events in your life. Let's say you have Saturn has just changed the dasha, not dasha, the Rashi. Now you have to analyze where it has gone and whether it is connected with my Lagna, Atmakarka, Amatyakarka, 10th Lord, Darakarka, and whatnot, depending upon the focus of your area. Okay. Now, while going through the Rashis and houses, it will also aspect the Navamshas. Like it will also have the Navamsha transits, but that is a bit advanced and complicated to explain to you. But let's talk about only the level 1 D1 chart. Okay, but before that, if you guys are getting value from this video, please hit the like button, and if you're learning something new, please put in new in the comment section. Okay, And I think Abhimanyu Malik ji, thanks a lot for your support, and your financial support really helps me. It means a lot to me. Thank you, Abhimanyu Malik ji. I really appreciate and super grateful for your help. Now, the most important part of this is the most important part of this is the transit creates the window of opportunity. From yoga to dasha, let's say you have a yoga for the career rise. Now you see that dasha is also relevant. Now you have to pinpoint it. Now you have to narrow it down, and you have to see whether you can predict the window where that event can happen. Transits are extremely difficult to calculate because there are so many points to see. It's not that, let's say, Saturn is moving through the sign of Capricorn, okay, and your ascendant is, and your moon is Aries. So it doesn't mean that it is going through your 10th house. It doesn't mean it is going through your 10th house. It has many more significations associated with it. It is also the 11th lord, right? It is also, you have to check that Jupiter, if Jupiter is aspecting this Saturn, and so on. Point is, you have to analyze the important points in the chart, and once you know the points, you have to see how those things are working out for you. Then you will be able to create a concrete prediction with the help of combining yogas, dashas with the transits. Okay, and with Varga charts as well, transits work with Varga charts as well. Okay, transits are so multidimensional. Like, it's not only about what's happening with your moon and what is the planet which is traveling through this moon, right? It's not about that. It's much more than this. Super complex. Even if we have softwares today, it is not difficult. Like, conceptually it is not difficult, but there is so much to look out for, right? The lord of the Rashi, then the significator, then the karakas, then the Gemini karakas, and so on. And Gemini karaka, here's the thing about Gemini karaka. Gemini karaka, as the name suggests, keeps on changing. They are not the sthira or the fixed. They keep on changing. So you keep on changing as in depending upon the degrees of the planet, right? So it is a different level of understanding for us. Okay. Now, okay. So here is what we have learned, and we are also going to look this into the chart as an example, or if some of you have a question, we might check that on chart as well if required. Now, let's get to the questions. Pradipar, how to see the transit of the 12th Lord in the 12th house in its Dasha, Venus Mahadasha, 12th house in Libra. So it is not the 12th Lord, but it is the it is the 12th Lord in Libra, but it is also ruling the 7th house. Okay, so anytime when you have 12th Lord going through the 12th house, you also have to check what are the important points in your chart which this transit is pointing, right? Sometimes some dashas are so acute that they bring in either positive or negative event in person's life, right? Career rise, money, fame, or some difficulty, all these things. You will see that some points in your chart are getting the aspects from so many planets during the transit. Okay, and this is how it works out for you. 12th house into the 12th house transit, it is very good transit for foreign travels and bed pleasures as well. In Venus, people often think that Venus in the 12th house is bad. There is nothing good or bad in astrology. It is always about the lessons we want to learn. So when you have Venus in the 12th house, in fact, it is a very good, I have to use the word very good, but yes, it shows bed pleasures, and it doesn't mean that you will be denied of any relationship or something like that. People often get scared if they have Venus in the 8th house, Venus in the 12th house. They feel that they will be denied of the relationship. They will never be able to have that companionship in life. No, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes you get into a relationship, and you are destined to have that relationship, maybe good or bad. You might regret afterwards that why did I get into that relationship, wasn't worth at all. But you feel like getting into that relationship at that moment. Why? Because of these transit triggers. This transit gets triggered due to some of the important sensitive points in your chart. Okay, Prasad Joshi ji, namaskar. Preeti Daftari, hello. Preeti Daftari, I'm 40. Should I consider Navamsha chart now? No, you should consider Navamsha chart right since your birth. Okay, your Navamsha chart is right with you ever since you're born, and you're doing all sorts of things. It's right there. Don't just limit yourself. Okay, I will use Navamsha after 35, 37, 40 in the second half, and so on. No, I would recommend the D9 chart remains with you since your birth chart, since your birth, not birth chart. So always make it a point to always look into the D9 chart as well. Zarka Farooq ji, hello Prasad. Hello Zarka ji, how I can help you? Palaparthi Nikhil, Ketu Mahadasha, Mars Antradasha, Venus Pari Antradasha till 30th September. What will be the effect? Now, you know my answer. I don't know. Why I don't know? Because it can be anything. Like let's say you have Moon into the 12th house along with the Saturn, or you have Venus and Mars conjunction into the 12th house. You would say, oh, it's bad. But what if I tell you that it's into the sign of Capricorn, where Mars gets exalted, or in Pisces, where Venus gets exalted, and so on, right? So I don't know. The point is, I don't know the answer to your question. Jayant Gowda, how does retrogression Jupiter and Saturn double transit will affect? So what would be the retrograde? Yes, Jayant Gowda, how does retrograde Jupiter and Saturn double transit? How does retrograde Jupiter and Saturn result? Yes, this is interesting. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about this. Yes. I think I'm visible now. Yes. Now, Jen Gowda, Leno Kutsu, love. Yes, Abhimanyu, hello, sir. Hello, Abhimanyu. Thanks for your super chat. Pradeep R. Viprit Raj Yoga. How to interpret when 12th Lord is transiting? We talked about that. Neha, hello. Sonali Sardar, hello. John, thank you for confirming this. I was observing my Venus Mahadasha and it's placed in the seventh house, which is why I wanted the confirmation. Thank you. Yes. Sonali Sardar, bye. Sonia, Zarka Farooq. I have learned a lot. Too good astrologer. Thank you, Zarka Farooq ji. Farhan Qureshi, is this Gemini astrology? Yes. Neha Shitut, new. Shanti Sharma, new. Yes. Thanks a lot for participating there. Lagna Lord debilitated in the ninth house. Lagna Lord debilitated on the ninth house. What's the negative effects? Please make a video. Sure, I will make a video. Not exactly that, but we'll cover that point. Farhan Qureshi, Venus just entered Libra. Yeah. Lino Kutsu, I don't understand how to find my dasha. Okay, Lino Kutsu, just check your moon nakshatra and check your moon nakshatra. Your moon nakshatra will have a dasha ruler. Okay, so your dasha sequence will start with that dasha ruler. The sequence of the dasha is always the same. The first is sun. Why? Because it starts with Kritika. Okay, nakshatra starts with Kritika. Now again, this can be a controversial statement that nakshatra start with Kritika, but let's assume we are just starting into Jyotish. Let's assume they get start from Kritika because they are in circle. Nobody knows where they starts. So let's assume it starts in Kritika. So sun rules your first dasha. Then comes moon, then Mars, Rahu, Jupiter, Mercury, Ketu, and Venus. Okay, let's say you're born in Magha Nakshatra. Magha Nakshatra is Dasha ruled by Ketu. So the sequence remains the same, but your Dasha sequence will start with Ketu, second will be Venus, then Sun, Moon, Mars, Rahu, Jupiter, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, and so on. Okay, and how you can find it? You can get any free website and just check it, or if you want it, you can get a report from my website as well, or you can simply go in any free website. You will get the Vimshotari Mahadasha. Okay, but make sure to check on these two things first. Dasha Lord of your moon nakshatra. Just note down the moon nakshatra and check the moon nakshatra and check the dasha ruler of that, and make sure that your dasha sequence starts with that planet. Okay, Lino Kutsu, what is your moon nakshatra, by the way, if you know that? Zarka Farooq, superb, thanks a lot. Anjali Sharma, Libra moon, Capricorn ascendant, Virgo sun, Ketu in Capricorn, ascendant Rahu. Yes. Farhan Qureshi, just download a software. Zira is a free search it. Yes, I don't know the context of this, but yeah. How events coming to me? Okay. Okay. Now, Rekha Nayan Prasad, super. Yes, thank you, Rekha ji. Anjali Sharma, Venus is in the seventh house. No, we are not talking about that. Okay. Transit, which is more effective from moon or ascendant? Now, this is a classic question we get all the time, and we have to deal with it. Okay, we have to first, I will share my view on it. I personally prefer the moon because moon is the planet of mind, which impacts your actions and so on. That's why we consider the transit of Sarasati from moon. when Saturn goes 12th to the moon, not 12th to your Lagna, right? But Lagna has its own significance with respect to the health or specific to yourself regarding those house signification. Okay. But moon will give you how you would feel about that transit. Okay. So usually check the transit of, I personally not a big fan of checking the transit of smaller uh, smaller planets like Venus, Mercury, Moon. They keep on changing quickly. I'm interested into the transit of Saturn, into the transit of Rahu, into the transit of Jupiter, and maybe into the transit of Mars, but not Venus, Mercury. I'm not saying they're not important. Maybe your 10th lord is as Venus, and then you need to analyze Venus transit and so on. But when we are talking about the major events in our life, mostly they are governed by Jupiter, Saturn, and Rahu. These three are very important transits. So check these transits from your moon. So what you can do is just cast your chart and rotate it to your moon, and cast the chart for right now and make that ascendant. Okay, let me show you if I can get that. So let's say you are having moon in Hasta Nakshatra or in the sign of Virgo, and you want to see how will be the transits, all the transits for you. So what I usually do is go in here and just cast the chart for right now. Okay. And then I make this as Virgo ascendant. Now what happens is, now I know where is Saturn with respect to moon, where is Jupiter with respect to moon, where is Rahu with respect to moon. Okay, just ignore this ascendant because we have just rotated the chart. That's why it's coming in here. But the point is, just cast the chart for right now and make your ascendant as per your moon sign, and then you will have clear picture about the transits from the moon. Now, from, let's say I'm talking about let's say my moon is in Virgo. So I know that Saturn is moving through the 5th house and Jupiter is going through the 6th house. Sun is going through the 12th house and so on. Rahu is in the 9th house. Okay. So this is how you can judge the transits from the moon and ascendant. Okay. Now, next is Farhan Qureshi saying, yes, you are. I don't know the context of that. Sonali Sardar, yes. UJ Aquarius, John Atmakaraka effect or something. Yes, John. What happens when a transit planet, not the natal planet, gets debilitated? For example, when Saturn goes into Aries, but not in my natal chart. So when Saturn is debilitated, but in transit, the debilitation will have an impact. But more than that, where is Aries sign placed in your chart? Saturn will be going through that house. Okay, and is going to activate that house as well in a big way, because Saturn and Jupiter confirmation is very important for any big event in our life or any event in our life. Okay, Okay, so Hannah S. How would you interpret transiting Mars in the first house? Transiting Mars in the first house energizes the first house, brings in energy, brings more activity in your life. Sonali sir are clear now. Continue. You're all good, G. Okay. Love wins. If I'm born in Ardra moon, which Mahadasha I am in now? If you're born in Ardra Nakshatra, your Dasha sequence will start with Rahu. That's what I can tell you, because I don't know your age, so I cannot tell you how much I like how much you have, uh, how much Mahadasha has passed, how much is balanced. I cannot tell you. Okay. Those who have any question around the sequence of dasha or what would be the dasha, just comment down into the video after this stream. I will share with you I will reply to your comment with a template with the sequence of the planets and maybe the steps if you want. Okay, just comment down there and I will reply you with my feedback. That will help all others as well, those who are watching or reading the comments. Okay, so don't get confused about it. I will reply to all of you. So Venus in the fourth house, Shanti Sharma, for a Sagittarius ascendant who has Jupiter in the fourth house, Pisces, what are the effects of transit of Jupiter over natal Jupiter P? For a Sagittarius ascendant who has Jupiter in the fourth house in the Pisces. Now see, you have to see the Jupiter. Jupiter is the Karaka of wealth. Now the Karaka of wealth is getting activated by the Jupiter by going over Jupiter, and is also activating the fourth house and the first house in your chart, right? And then you have to combine all this, and then you will see that you will have some changes in your house. Okay, because Jupiter is the planet of expansion. It expands wherever it goes. And when we are in home, and when I say you're expanding, maybe you're renovating something in your home. Okay, makes sense? Next, Abhishek Avasthi. Saturn transiting my seventh house, which contains Sun and Rahu. What will be the effect of this on my career, promotion, going through Saraswati as well, Aquarius moon? Now, see, seventh house, you ask a right question. So seventh house is the 10th from the 10th. So anytime you see Rahu in the seventh house is excellent when it comes to work, or excellent when it comes to job or career. It confirms the social status of the person, because seventh house is about the other people. And now you have Rahu placed in here. Rahu in the seventh house can have all the challenges. We have talked about that. We have made a separate videos on that. That's a different story. But when it comes to career, Rahu in the 10th house is a very good placement to have. And when Saturn goes over that, Saturn is the planet which is also the planet of karma. Now that planet of karma is also aspecting this seventh house Rahu. Okay, so now this is triggering the houses ruled by Saturn, and also the 10th, from the 10th, which is the 7th. So it will bring in the rise in the career as well. Leono Kutsu, it's Hasta. My moon is Hasta. I will find my Dasha ruler right now. Great. So if your moon is in Hasta, your Dasha ruler is moon. Your Dasha sequence must have started with moon. Preeti Daftari, in D9 chart, Sun, Moon, Ketu in first, Jupiter in fourth, Mars and Rahu in 7th, in 10th Mercury Venus, and it is Chaturushamsha Yoga. Which business can I do? I have Aquarius Ascendant Vargottama. I'm not able to visualize it right now. I'm sorry. Hana SC, do you focus on Mahadashas more or transit when making predictions? I focus more on yogas, then the dashas, and then to fine tune or to narrow down the probability of the days of happening of that event. Dasha will give you the period of 20 years, but transit will narrow it down even to the date. You can make date wise predictions as well if you have accurate data. And you have to, transits are not easy. You have to note down thousands of points. There are so many combinations which you won't be able to do it manually. Right now, these days, we have the softwares. So now we have become dumb. Now we simply search on the softwares, but the ideal way is to do it on your own. And when you do it, when you practice, it's not easy. I can't even imagine that doing it manually now. I really have a huge respect for those sages and old people who might have done this manually for single reading. It's a huge task. Okay, so yes, I focus on Mahadasha and yoga, and I just fine tune this with the transit. Bakiria Baki Bakia Gopal Krishnan. Sir, how Jupiter and Saturn double transit affect for Capricorn moon? See, double transits are very important. You also have to consider the Rahu as well if you want to see. The simple exercise you have to do is for Jupiter and Saturn. First thing you have to, whenever there is a change in the transit of Jupiter and Saturn, first thing you have to do is just note down. Okay, let's look at this and note down the houses, not houses, let's say rashis where Saturn is aspecting. Okay, Saturn is aspecting the Pisces, is aspecting the Cancer, and is aspecting the Libra. Right now, let's look at the Jupiter. Jupiter is aspecting the Leo, Libra, and the Gemini. Right, so you will observe that this Libra is the sign where Saturn is also aspecting and Jupiter is also aspecting. Right, so this is the sign which is very important, and this can trigger a lot of events. Okay, you have to look for the sign of Libra in your chart. Okay, now go to your chart and see where you have Libra placed in. Let's say somebody who is, let's say take any ascendant. Let's say it's Sagittarius ascendant. So where is the sign of Leo? Leo is placed into the 11th house, right? So this house is getting the double impact. Right? Double impact as in, let me clear all this. Or shall I erase it? Let me erase it. Right? So Now you know that Libra is the sign which is getting the double impact, the double transit, the concentrated impact of Saturn and Jupiter together is happening on the Libra. So now just go and check your ascendant and see where Libra is placed in. That is an important area of your life where you have to focus on right now, wherein you can experience some big changes in your life. Okay, you may not even realize that, but those are the areas you have to focus on. Okay, and that's how we look at the double transit of Jupiter and Saturn. Guys, if you're getting value from this video, don't forget to hit the like button. It means a lot to me. It feels good. Okay, okay, it feels good that you are, these videos are helping you in a way that really makes me feel good. Okay, and if you didn't like this, hit the dislike button and put it why you didn't like it. We can improve it anytime. Okay, but all of you are precious for me in this journey. Next is I think it's Preeti Daftari is done. Bacteria group. Yes, so my son is in Chitra. Love wins. What's Ardra Lord? The Ardra Lord is Rahu. Leo Leno Kutsu. My ascendant is Swati. My moon is Hasta. Leo, so I'm clueless on who what rules are. Yes, just put a comment after the live stream. I will share with you the dasha rulers and what you want, the planets and the dasha rulers for the nakshatra. I will share with you. Okay. Lenokutsu, I know these are all symbols of energies which we must recognize, understand, control. The lower three chakras are the natural thought. Love I think Hasta Mool Lord is called Savitur. No, we are not talking about the deities. We are talking about the Dasha ruler. Yeah, Shitut. Is it okay to consider aspects of planets in their transits or it's only restricted? No, you have to consider the aspects. Yes. And that now here things get trickier and complicated. Okay, the thing which I shared with you about the Navamsha, so here it gets a little bit trickier when you start looking at the transits of the planet with aspect. Varahamihira, very good evening, sir. I really like this name. My regards to you. Lino Kutsu, hey, can I give out my birthday time so you can use my chart as an example? I don't recommend it doing it, but if you want to share it, maybe you can. Next time we will cover your chart as well. John, thank you for answering my query. Much appreciated. Yes, thank you, John. And John, you are doing excellent job. Like you're learning it a lot. That's why I really appreciate your dedication to learn these things. You're amazing. Farhan Qureshi, can you please repeat the part about setting the planet as the ascendant? Okay, we'll share that again. Now, okay, Farhan, I'm repeating it for you. I hope you're watching. Let me just put it here. Now, what I'm doing is, let's say I'm just casting the chart for right now. Okay. But first thing I want to know is, let's say my moon is in Shravan Nakshatra. in the Capricorn, right? And if I want to see the transit of planets from moon, so what I will do, I will chart the cast for right now. And once I do that, I will rotate the chart according to the moon sign. I have moon in Shravana, or that is in Capricorn. I will simply make Capricorn as ascendant. What it will does, like it will show me the planets right now in context and in relation to my moon, because I made moon into the first house. So now I know that Ketu is in 11th, Saturn is in the Lagna, Jupiter is in transiting into the second house, Rahu is transiting through the fifth house, Moon, Mercury, Mars is transiting through the ninth house of my moon. And it becomes easy for me to learn more about these things. Okay, so simply note down your moon, cast the chart for right now, and just rotate the chart for right now as per your moon sign. That's it, you are good to go. I hope you have understood this. Just confirm this into the chat. Now, Farhan Qureshi, yes, can you? Yeah, John, I read Dasha analysis. You need to also consider the Bhavachalit chart. Is it the same for observing transits, or is it just the D1 chart mostly? It's Bhavachalit is to confirm the Bhava. And once you confirm the Bhava, analysis begins. Okay. Next is, how do you interpret conjunction of Venus, Mars, Mercury in the Virgo Lagna? Gurunath Joshi, why messages are getting deleted? I don't know. Lino Kutsu. Lino Kutsu. Jupiter Rahu in the ninth house, ruled by Gemini. Lalit Kapoor, in Sun, Sun and Run in 10th house, in Leo, Moon with Ketu in the fourth, Aquarius, Sun. Yeah. Live with Grace Oracle. When Pluto moves direct and progress, it will activate Mars dosha in my chart. BC, my chart is 0 degrees. Aquarius in my fourth house, tropical. What could this mean for my home? In fact, I don't have any knowledge about Pluto, and so I won't be able to help you with this. But if you want to know more about Mars, I can help you with that. Live with Grace. If I want to sell the house, should I do so before this starts? I can't tell you about this because I'm not able to visualize and I don't know about the Pluto. So can't really help you with that. But if you want to look at this from Vedic astrology perspective, we can most definitely look into your chart. Just DM me on Instagram and I will help you with this. Varahamira, sir, Gemini ascendant, my education is literally paused since 4 years. Saturn in the 12th house. Is Saturn is responsible for that? I could do remedy. Varahamira, I don't think Saturn in the 12th is restricting you or denying you education. Check out the fifth house and what's happening with the fifth house. Fifth house is the house of education. So you may be having some difficult or challenging aspects or conjunctions in that house, which is stopping you from getting the knowledge. Lino Kutsu, I'm Libra ascendant. Yes. Priti Daftari, Jupiter Mahadasha, Saturn Antradasha, both in 7th with Rahu. What's the prediction for career, Aquarius ascendant? Okay, yes. Lino Kutsu, my life has been crazy lately, spiritual growth. Yes. Before the spiritual awakening, just an year before the spiritual awakening is a crazy year of our life. Is the craziest year of our life. We get all sorts of upside down, and we get a reality check. So yes, you are on your way to spiritual awakening, it seems. Bakiria Gopalkrishnan, okay, sir. Thank you for your patient interpretation. Learning a lot from your videos. Thank you, Bakiria Gopalkrishnan. That's why I'm doing it quietly. I'm doing it, I'm reading all the comments and sharing my feedback with you. Okay, thanks for this kind words, Bakiria. Hana SE, if the double transit including malefic and benefic, how do you know if the event is going to be positive or negative? For that, we need the confirmation from the trigger transit. Transit trigger is the last uh, window of opportunity which we are looking for. The confirmation comes from the Mahadasha itself, whether you're running through the Mahadasha of malefic planets, Yogakaraka planet, benefic planet, or how it is going, and what are the antradashas. Now, then you will know the uh, event, that what would be the probable event, whether it will be positive or negative. Okay. Rohit Karan, what happens when Ketu transits over natal Ketu during Ketu Madasha? When Ketu, this is the ultimate, um, Ketu impact. Okay, Ketu brings in the spiritual element in your life. Okay, you may not be spiritual earlier in your life. Okay, you're into your Mercury Mahadasha, or you're into some other Mahadasha, and you just had your Ketu Mahadasha, and you also had Ketu going through your Ketu in the Ketu Mahadasha. So it will bring in the spiritual element in your life, and it also sometimes stop you from doing what you're doing right now. Whatever you're doing before that, you just suddenly stop doing that for any reason, for good or bad, but you feel like stopping that. Okay. Rohit Karan, please share with me your experience with the Ketu Mahadasha. You can DM me on Instagram as well. Spikin Sama, sir, may I know Venus in Ketu in Pisces ascendant is good? Yes, it is good. Why not? Vinay Joshi, sir, my Gemini ascendant with Sun and Mercury in the first, Jupiter in the seventh, Saturn Ketu in the 10th. Throw some light on my upcoming Saturn Antradasha with Jupiter Mahadasha. See, for Gemini ascendant, Jupiter is ruling the 7th and the 9th. So when a benefic is ruling only the Kendra house, and it is placed into the 7th house, it brings in that uh, element of Jupiter into your life. The Sagittarius Jupiter is a fiery Jupiter, which is about wisdom and ideals. So if you are into the Saturn Antradasha, into the Jupiter Mahadasha, what just note down the houses you're getting ruled: the 7th house, 10th house, 8th house, and the 9th house. So 7, 8, 9, 10, these four houses are getting triggered or are getting activated. Saturn is the Karaka of work. Jupiter is the planet of wisdom and wealth. Right? Now you have to see aspects of other planets as well to see what exactly is happening in. Okay? But yes, both the Kendra houses are ruled by Jupiter here. Sunil Rao, interestingly, in my case, the moon in transit is in Lagna along with two dynamic energies of Mercury and Mars in Lagna. Excellent. Vinay Joshiji, having 6 Ashtakvarga Saturn points in 10th house of Pisces, how can we interpret Saturn transit in Pisces? not able to visualize. But yes, you have to look at Ashtak Varga chart. Okay, because Ashtak Varga is the ultimate transit indicator. Okay, but if you get involved into Ashtak Varga, it might depress you sometimes, because there is nothing beyond Ashtak Varga. If you have, if you have half knowledge, and if you just see that, oh, I just have 3 points, but you don't know the kakshas, you don't know the uh, other minor things about the Ashtak Vargas, and you simply get, uh, if you just feel like, oh, okay, I have less numbers in Ashtak Varga, so my life is going to be terrible. So don't get into Ashtak Varga if you're not into the advanced studies. Look for the lords, karakas, and the Gemini karakas, and where they are placed in, how they are aspecting, and how the energies are playing out during the transit for the current time period, just like we did for the moon, right? Preeti Daftari, 21st 9. Preeti ji, please don't share your birth chart here. It won't help you. Please remove that comment yourself. Subo Arc, Saturn, Moon in the 6th house, Taurus, Guru, yes. Yes, for abroad chances, you have to check for the 12th lot. You can give me good tip on it. Yes. Thank you for giving so much learning for free. Thank you. Yes, Spiking Sama. Thanks a lot. Varamira, sir, 5th house is Libra, is empty with Lord Venus retrograde in the 10th house. So in a way, it's a very good placement. When a 5th Lord goes into the 10th house, is in a way a Raj Yoga. Like, it's a very good placement to have. How, Shubham SRJ, how we relate transit and Ashtak Varga score during prediction? Shubham ji, this is advanced stuff. I won't share that here. Okay. Not because I want to hide something, and but this, I don't want you to get into that at this moment. Okay. The reason I told you. Otherwise, I simply share everything I have. Okay. But I don't want you to get into Ashtak Varga. Okay, this is my request to all of you. Ashtak Varga is super important, but don't get into Ashtak Varga. You will get depressed if you do it wrong, or I won't recommend that to you. Okay, so next is Rahu and Saturn on opposite. Yeah. Sonali Gupta, hello sir, my Jupiter is in 11th house, transit Virgo ascendant. Yeah. And they say, what is special about Mahadasha of Atmakaraka planet? Yeah, it brings in the light, and all the Atmakaraka planets. Like, it shows the, not exactly the, it depends upon the type of planet and what that planet means to your ascendant, and then you will judge it as an Atmakaraka. Atmakaraka is the king of the planet, is the king of the chart. Like, he will rule your chart. Okay, so wherever it is placed in, you will be very proud of it, and you will be very sensitive about it at the same time. So when you have planet Atmakaraka, Mahadasha, all these things get elevated. You feel so proud about yourself. Your self-esteem is at the peak. You feel good about yourself because of recognition, work, money, whatever it is, but you feel good about yourself. Okay. Ashok Yadav, I Gemini ascendant, Moon in Libra, what impact Jupiter? I think we discussed this, the Gemini ascendant and impact of Jupiter and Saturn. Please go and watch that. I think just 5 minutes back I did that. Yeah. I have Ketu. Okay, James says I have Ketu, Kashimi, Saturn, and in Saturn Dasha stocked everything that was spot on. Okay, great. Thanks for the confirmation. Nish Verma, sir, I have Jupiter and Saturn conjunct in Aries in the 6th house. Both are retrograde. Can you give some knowledge about it? Yes, Jupiter and Saturn conjunct has to be examined carefully because these two are the transits, not transit, the nakshatras, not nakshatras, the dasha sequence of Jupiter and Saturn are back to back. And the sign placement of Saturn and Jupiter are back to back. It's like 9, 10, 11, 12. Two signs are ruled by Jupiter, two signs are ruled by Saturn. Okay, so you have to analyze it thoroughly. And there are certain rules about conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. You have to examine it carefully. But yes, when both these planets come together, they aspect at least one house clearly, which is 7 from itself. And that becomes the most important house in your chart. And if that house is getting aspect of Jupiter or Saturn in transit, that becomes even more important. This is how you have to judge the transits. This is how you have to look at the activation points or the important transit points in your chart. And then you will know the areas where big events are happening in. Okay, and this is not a one-day job. You will need some time. Even I'm improving my skills with this, and you always keep on improving their skills. Okay, Vinay Joshi, thank you, sir, for your knowledge and patience. Thank you, Vinayji, for your kind words. It means a lot to me. Gyan Vijwain, there are Saturn in the first house makes Shasha Yoga for Libra ascendant person. His moon is placed. Yeah, it becomes Shasha Yoga. Okay, so guys, if you're getting value from this video, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you still have any question, I think I have somebody, okay, Lino Kutsu, you're going to put a comment and I'm going to share with you the list of Dasha rulers or your Dasha ruler. I didn't remember what I said. Yes. Okay. So yes, just put that into the comment section. I read all the comments and I reply to all the comments. Okay. And we'll see you in another live stream with another topic. If you have any suggestion about the topics we want to discuss like this is a chill stream. We're not in a hurry. We'll take almost all the questions. Okay. And this is for those who are really interested in Vedic astrology and want to learn it. I'll be sharing my feedback with you guys. Okay. So I hope this has helped you. See you in the next video. Sending you tons of positive energy, sending you high vibrations. See you in the next video. Love and peace. Namaste.